On Seth Talk today, I discuss my opinion of the Ring of Power series. Do I like it or do I hate it? I don't know. There's been a lot of backlash against it. Maybe I'm one of those people. Before I begin, however, I should state my opinion of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit books and movies. I will confess, I am a huge nerd for this stuff. If you watch my channel, you'll know that I love the books. I think they're some of the best books ever written. The movies, the best movies ever made. The Hobbit trilogy of movies is a little different. I don't hate them, but I sort of see them like the Roger Moore of the Lord of the Rings. They're the lovable goofball that you know isn't a masterpiece, but you can't help but have some fun with. And when this new series came out, it was inspired, I guess, by the Silmarillion. There were some copyright issues, though. But I was excited for it because if you're going to make a TV series about a book, that's a good one to do. There's so much stuff in the Silmarillion. You can make multiple TV series out of it. But I was surprised by the backlash against it from a trailer. And I'm going to try to be unbiased here, but I will confess, I don't understand what the problem is. I really don't. I don't get it. But one of the issues people had was that there were women and black people on this show, which is in the original Lord of the Rings books. There's definitely women: Arwen, Eowyn, Galadriel. Black people, Return of the King. There's some dark-skinned folks described, and there's also dark. The Harfoots are described as being dark-skinned, and I'm saying black people here. I don't want to offend anyone, but it just wouldn't make sense to say African American in this context. And also, that's what those people were saying, that it was black people that they were being introduced. So I'm just repeating what they're saying. But I'd always pictured this world as having black people. I might be the only one, but during the Council of Elrond, I always imagined there being black elves and black dwarves. And that's the beauty of Tolkien's language. He's very ambiguous about things. He doesn't describe what people looks like, except maybe like just like a little detail. So you're allowed to picture it however you want. So I wasn't offended by that. And if you think it is too woke or something, I know that some series do that. I think this show wasn't rude about it. It's just that there's women and black people in Middle Earth now. That's it. That's all they do. They're just there, at least as far as the first two episodes are concerned. I think series like Marvel, DC, Mad Max do a much worse job of it. And I don't even think they do a bad job of it. But I think they do a worse job of it than Ring of Powers. Another complaint was Galadriel's like this action hero type, which is weird because she was in the Silmarillion as well. She was an action hero, basically. She was waging wars against people. Maybe there was a complaint, too, that she was too perfect, which, if you watch the first episode, it's not true. I mean, she's not perfect. She's obsessive, I'd say. And obsession's not really a good characteristic to have, I don't think. I mean, she might be right about her obsession, but I found her to be a very nuanced character. I didn't think she was just the action hero woman. But there's also been action hero women in those other series. Marvel, Mad Max. Why is the Ring of Powers getting so much hate? But there's complaints about the lore being different from the Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion and the Hobbit. There's always going to be some differences. I didn't even see that many when I looked into it. I couldn't find them. But probably the biggest complaint, and one that I do kind of agree with, is that Amazon is making this, and Amazon is an evil corporation that's probably murdering people, which is fair enough. Although I will say, Disney is an evil corporation that is probably killing people. Warner Brothers is an evil corporation that's probably killing people. Walmart is an evil corporation that's probably killing people. Arby's is an evil corporation that is probably killing people. I guess maybe Amazon is more evil than those places, but it's, the devil can still write a good story. And it's also important to note that there's a lot of other people working on this. Warner Brothers, a few others, but Weta, I think, was... I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It's one of those pronunciation things which is different for different people, I think. I couldn't find an exact pronunciation of it. I saw people pronouncing it differently on the internet. But yeah, so far I wasn't really impressed by any of the criticisms, me personally. And when I watched the series, I tried to remain as unbiased as possible and still have a fun time with it. But I was just, I'll be honest, I was blown away. I thought it was awesome. I mean, that first shot is just so beautiful. And I'm going to tell you the exact reasons why I like this show. And it's actually may very well, it's definitely the two best episodes of any show I've ever seen. That includes Breaking Bad, what was that show called? Mad Men, Sopranos. This is two of the best episodes of anything I've ever seen. Just you can tell there's a lot of money poured into it. It was more like a movie than a show. Actually, it was just breathtaking. But one thing I really liked about this was the actors, and you can say one thing for Amazon: they did not go for like these big name actors. Like, and I do love the Marvel cinematic universe and all that, but they bring in actors that everyone's heard of. Paul Rudd, Anthony Hopkins, Robert Downey Jr. And I'm sorry, they do a good job, but you just don't get that raw performance that you get from new people. New actors that are just starting out. And these actors, they might have had a few roles. They are basically new to the game. And it's just like in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, where most of those actors hadn't had that many roles or weren't like household names. It's, this girl, Nori, the Hobbit, she's one of the best actors I've seen in the entire, like, Lord of the Rings series. They know they have something to lose, so they're trying to make it the best performance they can. Everything is at line, and you just can't get that kind of acting from somebody who knows they can just go back home to their mansion after they're done filming. I'm sorry, but you just can't. The dialogue in this is just like in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. I've heard people complain about some of the lines, but I don't know. That's just like a very small problem. That's just like magnifying things. I didn't have any problem with it. The pacing was another issue people had. I didn't have a problem with that either. I felt like it was building momentum to something that's going to be even bigger. Hopefully even better than these two episodes, which I would be very surprised by, but I guess is possible because they are kind of like setting up something. But yeah, I think that pacing is one of those issues that critics make up. I'm sorry, but I don't really always believe critics when they say there's pacing issues, because that's all they'll say. They'll be like, well, in the third act, there were pacing issues. And they won't explain themselves. They won't say why there was pacing issues. If you ever hear a critic say there's pacing issues, ask them, why was there a pacing issue? And you might not get an answer. I think it's just an excuse for critics to complain about something, because they're good at that. The characters, I don't want to give too much away, so I don't really want to say too much about the characters, but I think they're just like they were in the Lord of the Rings. They're very well done. There's this one new character that's came in. It's like, I don't want to give anything away, but he's like a stranger, and I'm pretty sure it's Gandalf. But if they don't decide to go in that direction, it's fine. If they do, it's fine too, in my opinion. But I really like this new character, and I think all the characters are great. They're very interesting. The cinematography is beautiful. I guess they're filming in New Zealand, unless this was during COVID time, in which case they probably weren't. But it's beautiful. The effects, like there's this snow troll that comes on, and this happens way early, so I'm not giving anything away, but there's this snow troll, and it's like, wow, that's just like it would be in like the original trilogy. That is just how I felt when I saw the cave troll come in the Fellowship of the Rings. But I'm sorry, I don't really have too many complaints to say about this show yet. I know it is the first two episodes. The one thing I'll say is the intro wasn't very good. I mean, it was just like some like flowers floating around. I didn't get it. I guess it was poetic. It wasn't the worst thing ever, and you can skip it if you want. But that was really my only issue with it. Maybe like there's another thing. Again, I don't want to give away too many story details, but there's something that happens that's a little unrealistic in the sea. But I don't know. I actually did think it was kind of realistic. I feel that character would do that. with those kind of that with her the character that had been established, her obsessive personality. And it seems like there's islands around the place where it happened, so I see that there would be people shipwrecked nearby that might come over, you know? I don't think that's impossible, and it seems like something J.R.R. Tolkien himself would have written. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't really have too many problems. I will say it's too early to decide if this is, like, better than The Lord of the Rings. I will say right now it's at that level, and I hope it can keep it up. I hope I'm not disappointed by it. I really like Lord of the Rings, and I'm really liking this, but for now, these 2 episodes are getting the almost everything awesomeness seal of approval. I will say they're just, I really like them. And if you don't, that's fine, but I did. So, with that out of the way, my question of the day is, if you could live in a book, TV show, movie, whatever, what would it be? Leave your answers in the comments below. Mine would not be the Ring of Powers, though, because that snow troll is really creepy.